Hello children, good morning, welcome you all. So children, in the previous class we discussed about the osmosis and the types of osmosis and the significance of osmosis. So children, in today's class we shall discuss about another one important process within the plant body, that is the plasmolysis. So what is plasmolysis? So in a simple manner it is called as the shrinkage of the protoplasm when it is placed or when it gets surrounded by the hypertonic solution. You know that what is protoplasm? So the protoplasm shrinks. Shrinkage occurs due to loss of water, that is exosmosis occurs. Across the semipermeable membrane, the cell is going to lose the water when it is placed in hypertonic solution. Understand? So hypertonic solution means the concentration of the solutes will be more in the external medium. Inside the cell, the solute concentration is less, water concentration is more, so the water start moving from higher potential to lower potential. Water start moving from higher potential to lower potential, so that the protoplast or the cell membrane get reduced by losing the water, and the salt concentration or the solute concentration inside the cell increases. When it get plasmolyzed, water will be lost. So the shrinkage of the protoplasm when the cells are placed in hypertonic solution is known as plasmolysis. Okay, so the first point, it is, in other words, I can say that the withdrawal of protoplasm of a plant cell from its cell wall due to loss of water. So due to loss of water, so which process occurs? Exosmosis, that is by osmotic action. Okay, or I can define it in another manner, the shrinkage of protoplasm occurs when the plant cell is placed in a hypertonic solution. This is another definition. So the shrinkage of the protoplasm occurs when the plant cell is placed in hypertonic solution. So when the cells are placed in a hypertonic solution, think that it is the cell. Understand? So it is the plasma membrane attached to the cell wall, and when this it is a vacuole, so nucleus, all the cell organelles are present, and when the cells are placed in which solution, this solution becomes, that is hypertonic solution. This is the cell. So when here water is more within the cell, water is more, so water potential is high, here. It is hypertonic means what? That is solute concentration is more, water is less here. Water is less in this petri dish. So the water start moving out of the cell in all the direction through the plasma membrane. When the water start moving first from the cytoplasm, later on from the vacuole, then what happens? The shrinkage. So the plasma membrane in a turgid cell, it is stretched or it is attached to the cell wall. Now withdrawing of the protoplasm occurs, that is the plasma membrane start leaving the cell wall and it shrinks and it shrinks and becomes smaller in size. See, when the cells get plasmalized, you see the protoplasm shrinks and it get reduced in size and becomes round in shape due to loss of water. What happens here? X osmosis occurs. So due to outflow of water from the cell, the plasma membrane detach from the cell wall. It withdraw. It is the withdrawal of the protoplasm of a plant cell from its cell wall due to loss of water by osmotic action. That is, from water will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. Understand? Here water is more, isn't it? Water is more. That is, the potential energy of water, that is water potential, is high. Here the water potential is less. So the water start moving from higher potential to lower potential. Got it? So this is water. The plasmolysis occurs when the cells are placed in hypertonic solution. I said in the yesterday's class the three types of solutions: hypertonic, hypotonic and isotonic solution. Now what happens here? The next point, X osmosis occurs. Which osmosis? X osmosis means what? The water start moving out when the cells are placed in hypertonic solution. Next, the cell and the cell membrane of the plant cell shrinks from its cell wall. That is why it is called as shrinkage of the protoplasm. So the cell and its cell membrane shrinks from cell wall. From the cell wall they get shrinks. So the water moves out from the cytoplasm first and next from the vacuole. So the water moves out first from the cell cytoplasm and next from vacuole. Okay, so the movement of occurs, that is movement of water occurs from a region of higher water concentration to a region of lower water concentration, or I can say from a region of higher water potential to a region of low water potential, or I can say from the higher from low solute potential to higher solute potential. Understand? So we can define it in different manner. The movement of water occurs from an area of higher water potential. Movement of water occurs from an area. Water occurs from an area of higher water potential to an area of lower water potential. Okay, or I can say from higher water concentration to low water concentration. Understand? So that is the plasmolysis. See, there is one diagram given in the book. It is very important, and in laboratory, that is, you will understand about the plasmolysis. Think that. So the plant cell wall. Okay. Next. See, this is the cell membrane. The green colored line indicates the cell membrane. What is there in the center of a plant cell? It is occupied by vacuole. Understand? So here will be the nucleus and the some other cell organelles like mitochondria and the chloroplast. So ribosomes, then the Golgi complex, next the endoplasmic reticulum, so all this will be there within the cell. See this, what is this? Cell wall. And what is this? Plasma membrane, and it is the vacuole and the nucleus, and all these are the cell organelles, isn't it? So many cell organelles will be there within the plant cell. So this cell is in what condition? It is in turgid. It is full of water within the cytoplasm and also in the vacuole. What is there in the vacuole? The sap, that is vacuolar sap. And within the cytoplasm, all these cell organelles and some other substances, that is cellular sap, is also present. Next, when this cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, when the cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, now what happens? See, when the turgid cell with more water, when it is placed in the hypertonic solution, what happens? Withdrawal of the protoplasm occurs. So usually the protoplasm start withdrawing, and later on it extends in the corner. So the vacuole also get reduced, and the nucleus and all these cell organelles, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. See, the plasma membrane withdrawn. So the cell is now plasmolyzed. Where? In hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution. Understand? So the shrinkage of the protoplasm. Some of the at some regions, the protoplasm, that is the plasma membrane, is still attached to the cell wall. So at the corners and all the sides, you can see the withdrawal of the plasma membrane. So this is the plasma membrane. It is withdrawing. The water moved out. Here, water moves out of the cell. So the shrinkage of the protoplasm occurs. The protoplasm shrinks and it becomes smaller and smaller. Later on what happens? All these attached regions, they separate out from the cell wall and the protoplasm becomes round in shape. Only except at some regions the protoplasm is attached to the cell wall and more or less it is round in shape, and within the cell the water becomes very less and the solute concentration increases within the cell in a plasmalized cell. That is, when it get plasmalized, the solute concentration will be more and the water concentration becomes very less. So when it is placed in a hypertonic solution, the water concentration is more within the cell. Now it start moving out of the cell. Understand? So that is the plasmolysis. So that is withdrawal of the protoplasm or shrinkage of the protoplasm. So from the cell wall, that is the water potential. And when this cell, see, it can be reversed. Plasmalized cell, when it is placed in hypotonic solution, the reverse of plasmolysis occurs, that is deplasmolysis. Deplasmolysis means what? See, the deplasmolysis. And one more thing very important, that is here in this space, so it is a gap, no? It is a cell wall. What is this? Cell wall. And what is this membrane? Plasma PM. PM means here there is no space, just I am writing PM, that is plasma membrane. And in this region, see, there is a space or a gap that is present. What is filled in this region? What is present in that region? Air or any other solution? It is filled with hypertonic solution. Here in these gaps, you know, the hypertonic solution get filled in these spaces. Hypertonic solution get filled in the gaps that is present in between the cell wall and the plasma membrane. At the corners, the gap is present, no? That gap or a space is filled with hypertonic solution. Now, deplasmolysis. Deplasmolysis. What is deplasmolysis? When the plasmalized cell is placed in hypotonic solution, the water again enters into the cell. Understand? That is the deplasmolysis. When a plasmalized cell is placed in hypotonic. Now hypotonic means outside. Now in the shrinked cell, the water is very less, the solute concentration is high, so it is osmotic potential of this cell is more negative. Osmotic potential of this cell, plasmalized cell, is more negative, and water potential is very less within this cell. And in hypotonic solution, when this plasmalized cell is placed in hypotonic solution, means that is in pure water, or in hypotonic solution where solutes are very less, water concentration is more, means then the water enters into the cell. So water moves into the cell from outside. Now the plasma membrane starts stretching and it oppresses to the cell wall. So get surrounded, compactly attached to the cell wall, and it builds up a pressure. That pressure is called as the Turgor pressure. Understand? So the cell becomes turgid now, and the cells are in a turgid condition. There the pressure builds up on the cell wall. That pressure is called as what? Turgor pressure. So the pressure potential increases. Here the pressure potential in this increases. Turgor pressure increases. Turgor pressure or the pressure potential increases when the cells are placed in hypotonic solution. Now the cell becomes, so this turgid cell. This is a turgid cell. When it is placed in hypotonic solution, it shrinks. So when the shrinked cell or plasmalized cell placed in hypotonic solution, and again it becomes turgid. So this process is known as deplasmolysis. Got it? So reversing of plasmolysis is nothing but the deplasmolysis, and it builds up a pressure. So when the water start entering, because here only the salts will be present, not only water will be present but very less. It is this plasmolyzed cell is osmotically very negative. Osmotic potential is negative. Understand? So water potential is, that is too much of low water potential is present. So minus up to minus 30 bars can be seen in the plasmolyzed cell. So when it is placed in water, again it regains its structure suddenly. If the plasmolysis goes on continuing, the cell will die. Why? Because most of the cell organelles within the cytoplasm will start losing the water and their functional efficiency will decrease. The cell organelles are very important in the cytoplasm. The metabolic activity of a cell is done by the cell organelles, no? So when the cell organelles start losing the water, the cell organelles, functional efficiency of the cell organelle will decrease. When the functional efficiency is decreased within the cell will die without water. Understand? So when the plasmolyzed cell immediately placed in a hypotonic solution or in pure water means it will survive. Okay. So the diagrams that are given in the textbook, and these diagrams are important. If you want, you can, by pausing the video, you can draw it. So in deplasmolysis, what happens? Here see, what happens here? Hex osmosis occurs. Okay, Hex osmosis. In deplasmolysis, what happens? End osmosis occurs. End osmosis means what? Water moves into the cell from external medium or from the neighbor cell. So that is the deplasmolysis. Next, 6th point, in a plasmolyzed cell, water potential is there. So water potential, what is the condition of water potential? Water potential, so that is highly negative, no? Water potential is very less, that is highly negative. I said up to what condition? That is minus 30 bars. BARS, water potential, is also measured by bar. See, water potential is highly negative. Up to what? It increases up to 30 bars. So due to high concentration of cell sap. The cell sap, when start losing the water, vacuolar sap and the cell sap, only solutes will be there. Water will become very less. Next, it has 0 or highly negative. What is the pressure potential? Is there any pressure in the cell? In a turgid cell, there is a pressure, that is turgor pressure. So pressure potential will be there. But here any pressure is there? There is no pressure at all. So it has 0 or highly negative pressure. That means pressure potential. Pressure potential is used by symbol. Since there is no, why there is no any pressure means, since there is no any turgor pressure. Is there any turgor pressure? Because the cell is not in a turgid condition now. It has been start losing the water. So the turgor pressure has decreased. So turgor pressure and wall pressure. Is there any wall pressure? So when there is a turgor pressure, there will be a wall pressure. When there is no turgor pressure, there is no wall pressure. So the TP and WP is 0. Understand? So it has 0 or highly negative pressure. pressure potential will be negative. So there is no any turgor pressure or wall pressure, and this turgor pressure is and wall pressure will be in zero condition. And what is there in the cell? It has more solutes, so osmotic potential is negative. The cell, the plasmalized cell, has more solutes, isn't it? So it is osmotically, so osmotic potential is what? Is negative. Osmotic potential is negative in this cell. When such cells are put into hypotonic solution, the cells quickly absorb the water. We call it as sucking. The cells suck the water, more and more water is sucked quickly. So that pressure where the plasmalized cell sucks the water, that pressure is called as suction pressure. Understand? When such plasmalized cells, so see how many pressures are there. When such plasmalized cells are put in hypotonic solution, the cells quickly suck the water. So how they suck the water? So when the plasmalized cell put into pure water or in a hypotonic solution, with a pressure they suck the water. That pressure is called as suction pressure. See, suction pressure, due to that pressure, so the cells are in more osmotically negative condition. When water is available, the water suddenly is drawn by the or sucked by the cell. So it starts stretching. The plasma membrane starts stretching. So that pressure that is built up in a plasmalized cell when placed in hypotonic solution, that pressure is called as suction pressure. Okay. See, wall pressure, turgor pressure, suction pressure, imbibitional pressure, osmotic pressures. See, these are different types of pressures. Now, dear children, let us move on to the next. I think you understood about the plasmolysis. Now, the types of plasmolysis. Types of So what are the different types of plasmolysis? First one, the limiting. Plasmolysis. What is limiting plasmolysis? So this type of plasmolysis, it is the first stage of the plasmolysis where gradually the protoplasm start losing the water. So that is, it is the first stage of plasmolysis, first stage of plasmolysis where the cells gradually lose water, from the cytoplasm and vacuole, and it decreases the turgor pressure or the pressure potential to zero. Now there is in the cell some turgor pressure is there. When it start losing the water, in the initial stage, in the beginning stage, the turgor pressure decreases, the pressure potential decreases. So in this limiting plasmolysis, the turgor pressure, Tp means turgor pressure, and the pressure potential decreases to what? Decreases to 0. Tp means turgor pressure. Okay, it becomes 0. Now, so in a turgid cell there is some pressure potential will be there, and also the turgor pressure will be there, and when it start losing the water, the pressure decreases, so it becomes 0. Next, incipient plasmolysis. So the plasma membrane start withdrawing from the cell wall at the corners. See what we have seen just now in the diagram, at the corners. So in this we cannot see this type of, but the water will be lost. The cell membrane still it is in intact with the cell wall, but here in incipient plasmolysis we can see the separation of the plasma membrane from the cell wall at the corners. So incipient plasmolysis, the plasma membrane starts withdrawing from the cell wall at corners. That is incipient. We have just seen now, that is the cell wall. See, the plasma membrane start withdrawing at the corners. See, this is the corner, the plasma membrane separated out. Here is the corner, here is the corner. So beginning, that is we can see the withdrawal of the plasma membrane from the corners, that is incipient. Next, evident. So when more and more water start moving out, plasmolysis, when more and more water start moving out, the plasmolysis occurs. What is this stage? This stage is called as the final stage. So the protoplasm shrinks from all the sides. When in this condition, incipient plasmolysis, later on moves into the evident plasmolysis, the protoplasm starts shrinking and shrinking at all the sides. So see, it shrinks, vacuole, the nucleus. Somewhere at some regions it may get attached to the cell wall. So it looks round in shape. So more and more water start moving out of the cell, the protoplasm shrinks and shrinks and it becomes smaller and smaller, and usually it looks round in shape. Understand? By losing the water. So it is the final shape. So protoplasm shrinks. Protoplasm shrinks at all sides, and the protoplasm looks round in shape. The cell cannot, in this type, the cells cannot remain alive in the evident plasmolysis. Why? Because the cell organelles start losing the water. When there is water, the metabolic reactions occurs within the cell, and these cell organelles, they lose the functional efficiency. So the cell cannot survive. So the cell cannot survive, or the cell cannot be in alive condition. So the cell organelles lose functional efficiency, and which leads to death of a cell. finally the cell will die. So the cell cannot survive or the cell cannot remain live. The cell organelles lose their functional efficiency in a plasmalized cell. It may lead to death of a cell. When there is no water, the cell becomes dry, the cell will die. Okay, that is what we can see if the plasmolysis goes on continuing. Suddenly in a plasmolysed cell, when water enters or when we put this plasmolysed cell in hypotonic solution or in pure water, the cell will survive. This should be in a sudden manner. Okay, so these are the types of the plasmolysis. Now we shall move on to the next, that is importance of the plasmolysis. Dear children, so this is an important topic and it is many of time it is repeated in the examination for shorter answer type. Now, what is the importance of plasmolysis? So the importance of plasmolysis, you can imagine in our daily life activity we use this process since from old age till now. We use this technique in our houses, the grandmas, so our mother while preparing some of the food items, we use this technique to preserve the food materials by bacteria or by fungal contamination. So for a long duration, by using this technique, we can preserve most of the foodstuffs. Got it? So pickles, the technique of preservation of the pickles, jam, fish, meat. So during transportation of the fish from India to some other country, it takes through the ship, it takes several days. So by then the contamination, the rotting of the fish meat or meat occurs, no? So to prevent that, they use salting process. Understand? So excess of salt is added and the contamination, even the fungal or bacterial cell get plasmolyzed. The cells or bacteria or fungus, they won't survive in highly salt conditions. So the pickles are kept in our home for long days, isn't it? For several months, even up to years without contamination. So that is, they add the salt, no, to the pickles. Why they add the salt? To protect the pickles from contamination by these microbes. So that is one technique. So importance means in our daily life, technique of preservation. So since from olden days we use this technique. It is used to preserve pickles, jams. You can write use to preserve pickles, jams, fish, meat, etc. So salting process is usually done in the transportation of the fish meat. So preservation is done. And the pickles, you see, when the pickles are prepared, they use, that's why it is called as uppinagai. So uppu means what? Salt, isn't it? Why they add the salt? To kill the microbes. The microbes like fungus and bacteria won't survive. They get plasmolyzed and the cells get killed. So multiplication of the fungal and contamination of the fungal or bacteria is avoided. That is one. So that is preservation by addition of excess of salt. Excess of salt is added for this process. Okay, the next one, weeds. The second one, weeds, killing. Weeds. Weeds means what? So some of the unwanted plants that is present in between the crop plants. These are the unwanted plant. They utilize whatever the fertilizers we give, and those fertilizers should go to the crop plants, not to these weeds. So they compete with the crop plants for water, for nutrients, etc. No? So we remove usually the weeds that are present in between the crop plants are removed by different methods. But this is another method where we can kill the weeds by sprinkling salt water on them. When we spray or sprinkle salt water on them means from the leaves, from the parts of the plant, they start the water start moving out. They lose the water and the plant start wilting and it becomes dry and it will die. So it is a simple process, spraying of the highly concentrated salt solution on the plants and on the weeds, weedicides. So simply spraying means that is the plants are going to lose the water and the plants will die. This is the killing of weeds. And another importance, that is the next importance, the plants that are present in the cracks, that is somewhere on the buildings, cracks are produced. You might be seen that some plants will arise in those cracks. So plants in the cracks of building, we cannot remove them. Or even if we cut, after few days again they will start branching or they will start growing. So the plants that are present in the cracks, by spraying the salts we can remove them. By spraying salts we can remove them. That is another important thing. And the bacteria and the fungi, and fungi get killed by plasmolysis. If more and more salt is added means these bacteria and fungi, they get killed by plasmolysis, and it increases the shelf life. That's why we add salt to our some of the food stuff to kill these bacteria and fungi. So plasmolysis increases that is shelf life of food items. We can store them for many days, for months, or even up to some years, shelf life. So if we add more and more fertilizers, if more fertilizers are used by the farmers, even it undergoes, more fertilizers are used, then what happens? The root cells will die. The root cells starts losing water and the root cells die. When the root cells die, the plant wilts. When the plants wilts, the plants will die. So that's why we should not use the fertilizers, more and more fertilizers when added to the soil. If water is less from the root, the water flows out into the soil and the roots will become dry and the cells of the root will die. So that is why in a dilute condition, these fertilizers are used in a dilute condition. That means when the rain comes or when the irrigation is done, that is water feeding is done, then they add the fertilizers. So that is another important. And see, these are some of the importance of the plasmolysis. Okay, children, I think you understood the concept of this plasmolysis.